Happy Halloween, motherfuckers! It's your old pal Filthy Fred with another positively petrifying episode of Masterpiece of Shit Theater. And boy, oh boy, have I got something special for you today. To celebrate this special season of spookiness, I've dug up one of the most frightening, nightmare-inducing works of literary gold, sure to leave you trembling. The punchline is it's Jeff the Killer. What, you expected me to read something what ain't shit? The joke's on you, asshole. Now let's get this crap out of the way because I'm sick of people requesting it. Excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. We said it once before, but it bears repeating now. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I had a bad dream and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. The end! Well, that was anticlimactic. Yeah, I wish. I saw that for some reason the window was open. Even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed, I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There in the little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains were a pair of two eyes. How young is this young boy? Because he's surprisingly eloquent for a little kid. I mean, that's really, I'm not making a joke. I'm just kind of impressed. These weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes. I take it back. This kid's an idiot. How can eyes be illuminating and dark? I smell a liar in our midst. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. Was it Barack Obama? Nothing political here, just pointing out the guy has kind of a creepy grin. Has anyone else ever noticed that, or is it just my instinctual fear of elected officials running wild again? Anyway, continuing. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said in only a way a madman could speak.
I'm not Stu.
He said, go to sleep. I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked. I punched. I wet myself in primal fear. I rolled around trying to knock him off me. That's when my dad busted in. Guns a-blazing! Nah, I'm kidding. That would have made this story entertaining. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointed towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face, those cold, evil eyes, and that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Police is still on the lookout for this man. If you see anyone what fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Cold, evil eyes and a psychotic smile. Got it! Put out an APB on Gary Busey. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. Maybe I ought to put some kind of break in the text or something to let people know I'm changing narrative. Nah, that kind of stuff's for squares. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods, quote-unquote. Jeff and his brother Lou, spelled L-I-U for some unknown reason, couldn't complain though. A new, better house. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of the neighbors came by. Hello, she said, I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son. She turns around and calls her son over. Billy, these are our new neighbors. Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard, where he was never hid from again. Well, said Jeff's mom, I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter and my two sons Jeff and Lou of the Lucy variety. They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday, but not before asking Margaret if she and Peter knew how to properly spell the name Lou before naming their youngest son. Or older. Hell, I don't give a damn, and why should you? Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family had done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid. Jeff, said his mother, I know you're not just some dumb kid. You're the dumb kid. You're the dumbest kid that ever there was, and I want the world to marvel at your idiocy, boy. Now go and make Mama proud. We just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now we're going to that party and that's final. And I swear to God, if you ever question my judgment again, they will never find your body. Do you understand me, Jeff? Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mom said something, it was final, as previously stated. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at his ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He was feeling tingly in his no-no place again. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. Okay, let's not address the demonic premonition he just had or anything. Nope, just some random feeling. Now let's go, we got shit to do. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. Oh boy, it's back. I was afraid we were going to leave this plot thread hanging. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. It's called a stomach ulcer, kid, and trust me, it only gets worse. As he and Lou finished breakfast, God, that name, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then, all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? What are they so pissed off about? That was impressive work. I sure as hell couldn't pull that off. The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seems to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He wears an Air Apostle shirt and ripped blue jeans. Jeff and Lou better be careful. This kid's a backwards hat and shades away from being unstoppably badass. Well, it looks like we got some new meat, said Badass McSkateboard, evidently under the assumption that all cool kids talk like characters in Prison Break movies. Suddenly, 2 other kids appeared. Fuck, they're being ganged up on by wizards! Surrender now and you might live, boys! One was super skinny and the other was huge. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over to the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would expect a sidekick to have. And he's Troy. They both looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a double line. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. Hey, big is beautiful, you body-shaming little shit. And I, said the first kid, am Randy. All quake before the world-shattering might of Randy. Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there is a small price for bus fare. If you catch my drift. Lou stood up ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I had hoped you would be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way. For God's sake. Now he's talking like a 1920s gangster. Well, I suppose all mobsters got to start somewhere, right? The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid and promptly vomited bile all over him. Them ulcers don't fuck around, do they, Jeff? Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, and what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was much too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming, right? Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in his stomach and Troy went down. I fully believe you. As he fell, he puked all over. Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, how did you? That was all he said. He didn't need to finish the question. He knew. His brother was the protagonist of a 13-year-old kid's revenge fantasy. No power on earth could stop him now! They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing out to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. So did they outrun the bus? Is that yet another one of Jeff's mysterious superpowers? Hell, why does this kid become a serial killer again? He's got like the makings of a superhero. Oh, right, yeah, 13-year-old kid's revenge fantasy. How silly of me. Carry on. All they did was sit and listen, which, is generally encouraged in a school-type setting. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was, the urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. I know there's something wrong with the world when I'm happy too, Junior. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop and how he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore, he felt happy. Awkwardly written. No joke there, just awkwardly written. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said, in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mother and Father, I must retire to my room and listen to Evanescence all night. The innocent young Jeff you once knew is gone. There is only angst and grade school theatrics in his place." Next morning, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look. "Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting and they were stabbed." "Stabbed, son? I thought I taught you better." Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. Jeff and his mother had spoken through a language of primitive grunts and gestures for years. "Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knives on me and Lou." "Son," said one of the cops, "we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now what does that tell us? That they didn't pull the knives first? I don't know, I can't be asked to care." Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but then there was no proof it was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing because, truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. So he attacked the cops. Wrenching the pistol from one, he planted a bullet in the brain of the other before savagely tearing the first officer's entrails out with his teeth. Sorry, I'm getting carried away. I won't say that would make this story any better, but it's honestly what I was expecting to happen. "Son, call down your brother." Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all the kids. "Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me." The cop looked at his partner and they both nodded. "Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie." "Wait," says Lou. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their gun and locked him on Lou. "It was me. I beat up those 3 little punks. Have the marks to prove it." He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises as if he was in a struggle. "Son, just put the knife down," said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. "No, Lou, it was me. I did it." Jeff had tears running down his face. Poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. "Well, take me away." The police let Lou out of the control car. "Lou, tell him it was me. Tell him I was the one who beat up those kids." Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. "Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it's Lou. You can stop." Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulls into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son, what is it?" Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at him. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou and it was his fault. He just went to sleep trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by with no word from Lou at JDC. No kids to hang out with. Nothing but sadness and guilt. I'm sorry, kids. I keep thinking about how I could be reading something with real character depth and pathos, like Of Mice and Men or something instead of this shit. Okay. Get it together, Filthy. Get it together. Okay. That is until Saturday, when Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. Because let's just forget our child's been dragged off to juvie for a year. He's someone else's problem now. Good riddance to him. "Jeff, it's today," she said as she opened up the curtains and let light flood into his room. "What's today?" asked Jeff as he stirs awake. "Why, the day of your horrible transformation from little emo shit to little emo shit what looks like the Joker." You think I'm kidding, don't you? Must be nice to be so optimistic. "Why, it's Billy's birthday." He was now fully awake. "Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after..." There was a long pause. Scenes of Jeff's former life, a happier life, flashed past your eyes. In their ears, they heard the soulful strains of Arms of the Angel while they recalled Jeff and Lou playing catch, building a treehouse, setting local homeless people on fire. Jeff, we both know what happened. It was a poorly written melodramatic bit of trash, and the sooner we forget about it, the better, Jeff. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up. His mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they ever wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party? Good fucking question. Son, is that all you're gonna wear? Said Jeff's mom. I don't know, Mom. Maybe I'm still suffering the psychological effects of having violently assaulted 3 fellow children and then seeing my own brother dragged away for a crime he didn't commit. Maybe I'm just a little too distracted to throw a proper outfit together. This was the best I could do. Is that okay with you, Mom? Is that okay? You go clean your room, Mom. Turn your music down. Nobody understands me but that guy with a really obnoxious, wobbly voice from Panic at the Disco. Better than wearing too much, he said. His mother sensed the true meaning of his words, however, and pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hit it with a smile. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. On who? Middle schoolers? Who are we trying to impress? What world do you live in, Mr. Jeff's dad? Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. I don't have any fancy clothes, he yelled downstairs. Just pick out something, called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he could call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which would go with dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. You're wearing that? They both said. Why, it's right after Labor Day. How gauche. His mother looked at her watch. Oh, no time to change. Let's just go, she said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door, and it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, way overdressed. As he walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids. What is this, some kind of cult meeting? Is Jeff going to be sacrificed? Please say yes. The kids are out in the yard. Damn, I really wanted Jeff to get sacrificed. Jeff, how about you go and meet some of the kids, said Barbara. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's not like it makes the story any worse. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting at each other with plastic guns. What fucking decade did this take place in? Skateboards, gangster dialogue, and now we got like 12-year-old kids playing cowboy? Am I in purgatory? Is that what this is? He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. No, because then I'd actually be having fun. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and hat. Hey, wanna play? He said. No, kid, I'm way too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with that weird puppy dog face. Please, said the kid. Fine, said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend shoot at the kids. At first he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun. Careful, Jeff, you're losing your street cred. None of the emo fangirls are gonna want to glomp you again, whatever the hell that means. It might not have been super cool, but it was for the first time he had done something that took his mind off Lou. So he played with the kids for a while until he heard a voice, a weird rolling noise. Did it hit him? Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. With the injuries they sustained previously? Does every kid in this story have superpowers? Oh, wait, I forgot. They're wizards, ain't they? Probably use magical healing spells or something. Shifty bastards. Waste them, Jeff! Jeff dropped a fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. Jeff, you idiot. Everything was set up for a perfect showdown moment, and you threw away the hat and gun? You call yourself a drama queen. Hello, Jeff, is it? He said. We have some unfinished business. Jeff saw his bruised nose. I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you when you got my brothers into JDC. Randy got an angry look in his eyes. Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today. Today we're giving you cement shoes, see? Yeah, we're gonna rub you out, see? Give it the old Jimmy Hoffa special, see? Yeah. As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off him, and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. Oh, for fuck's sake. No one interrupts or guts will fly, they said. God damn. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked toward the back door. Troy grabbed him. Need some help? He picks Jeff up by the back of his collar and throws him through the patio door. As Jeff tries to stand, he's kicked down to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Come on, Jeff, fight me! He picks up Jeff and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. And not a single adult decides to step in and stop this. Nobody? Well, okay, it is Jeff or Randy's life at stake, so really it don't matter who loses, because either way the world wins, am I right? Fight! He throws Jeff back into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brothers into JDC, and now you're just gonna sit there and let them rot in there for a whole year. You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally, you stand up and fight. Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. Of course! It all makes sense now. Jeff secretly has homoerotic masochistic tendencies. Wow, it's like how Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is really a psychological thriller about one kid's repressed gay charms or something. Just as thought-provoking and just as fucking stupid. Unfortunately for this story, Jeff never transforms into a were-Freddy during a full moon or makes a parrot explode, so I'm giving Nightmare 2 the better score. You earned it, Freddy, oh boy. Hey, somebody's gotta like the movie. Finally, he's up, says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's when it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him into the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop, naturally. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him. Punch after punch, blood gushes from Randy's body like some kind of gruesome water balloon. That's how blood works, right? Until he takes one final breath and dies. He died as he lived, a one-dimensional creepypasta villain. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff. Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him, each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let out their final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. I can only take so many of these fight sequences, kid. Can we fast forward this? Troy singes one knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs a towel rack into Troy's face. Troy then goes down hard, and all that's left is Keith. He is more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He dropped the knife down and grabbed Jeff by the neck. He pushed him into the wall, yada, yada, yada. A thing of bleach fell down the top of him to the top shelf. What's bleach doing up there? It burned both of them, and they both started to scream. As Jeff wiped his eyes at best he could, he pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he lay there bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. What's so funny? Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. What's funny, he said, is that preteen ass monkeys all over the country think this is Pulitzer Prize-worthy material. Also, you're covered in bleach and alcohol. Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol into vodka. Oh shit, he gave him the Rorschach special. When the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin, which ain't how it works, but if we're one step closer to finishing this story, I don't mind. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire, dropped to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. Fortunately, someone recorded the whole incident on their phone and then synced it up with the Benny Hill theme song later on. It became a YouTube hit. When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized that there was some tube in his arm, and when he tried to get up, it fell out and a nurse rushed in. I don't think you can get out of bed just yet, she said as she put him back in his bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. Is the little bastard dead? Yeah. Oh, I mean, thank God you're alive, my precious angel. Honey, are you okay? She asked. Jeff couldn't answer though, his face was covered and he was unable to speak. Oh honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed to trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go. Is this before or after Randy's heart exploded like an overripe grape? Did they contact him via seance to get his confession? Will his word hold up in court? Can they call a torch inspector or the dead to the stand in a cross-examination? This story offers endless questions with no answers. This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. He'll be out by tomorrow, and then you two will be able to be together again. Literally. The twist is they get sewed together like some kind of horrible two-headed Frankenstein and go on to start their own garage band. Oh, no, wait. I'm thinking about obscure Canadian children's cartoons again, damn. Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Then came the day when his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it, what he would look like. As the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover over his face was almost removed. Let's hope for the best, said the doctor. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare awestruck at his face. Underneath was another roll of bandages. What? What happened to my face? Jeff said. He rushed out of his bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face, it's horrible. His lips were burned to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family and then back at the mirror. Jeff, said Louie, it's not that bad. Not that bad, said Jeff. It's perfect. His family were all equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff, are you okay? Okay? I've never felt more happy. Look at me. This face goes perfectly with me. So perfect, in fact, that I finally mastered my Jack Nicholson Joker imitation. Lou, you are my #1 guy. He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity snapped. Now he was left as a crazy killing machine, that is. His parents didn't know. I just thought I'd explain that for you in case you have the long and short time memory of a goldfish. Doctor, said Jeff's mom, is my son all right? You know, in the head? Oh yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amount of painkillers. Your son is simply suffering from what we in the medical field refer to as crazy go-nuts. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. We have patients doing verbatim reenactments of Batman villain scenes all the time here. Nobody cared who I was until I wore this mask. Not now, Ted! If his behavior didn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here and we'll give him a psychological test. Oh, thank you, Doctor. Clearly, your cool dismissal of my son's split-second jump from moody teenager to cartoon supervillain has soothed my weary nerves. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go. Jeff looks away from the mother, his face still formed into a crazy smile. Okay, Mommy! His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. This is what came in, said the lady at the desks. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and white hoodie his son wore. Now they were clean of blood and now stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life. Thanks for giving away the ending. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to a second... I was going to say from a second coming from the bathroom. I was like, Jesus is back? All right, the story did get better. Jeff's mother woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. You've gone from Nicholson Joker to Legend Joker. He's the worst one of them all. Bite me, it's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Jeff looked over to his mother.
I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while. Now I can smile forever.
Jeff's mother noticed his eyes ringed in black. Jeff, your eyes! His eyes were seemingly never closing.
I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned out the eyelids so I could forever see myself, my new face.
Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. Yeah.
What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful?
Oh, God, on top of it all, he's jumping on the transgender bandwagon, too. Yeah, go ahead and send me hate comments. See if I give a fuck. I'm old, I say what I want.
Yes, son, she said. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face.
She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep.
Honey, get the gun.
She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife.
Mommy, you lied. I'm not your son anymore. I'm your daughter, just like Caitlyn Jenner.
That's the last thing they hear as Jeff rushes them with a knife, killing both of them. His brother Lou woke up startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. Oh, this is embarrassing. Jeff's gonna go into Lou's room only to find Edward Cullen standing in there staring at him. And it's gonna get all awkward as they both admit they had an unhealthy fixation on him. And really, they all end up feeling silly in the morning. He looked up. Before Jeff's hand covered his mouth, he slowly raised the knife ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there trying to escape Jeff's grip.
Shh, Jeff said. Just go to sleep.
And thus the legend was born. I guess you could say Jeff's family got the point. Yeah, but seriously, Jeff's eyeballs dried out a few days later, and he was caught robbing a 7-Eleven for all their Visine. They tried to get some kind of explanation out of him, but all they could get was variations of, "You want to know how I got these scars?" and "Let's put a smile on that face." He was later sent to creepypasta rehab along with Sonic.exe, and the two of them now live a happy, healthy life under new names, operating a little family diner. A diner by the name of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. No, I'm not going to read a story about that. Fuck off.